Hey, this is a Saturday Morning TVLog from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews.
Welcome to another Saturday Morning TV Log, and this time around it's Yogi's Gang, brought to us by Hanna-Barbera.
Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So this week's Saturday Morning TV Log is Yogi's Gang, the second incarnation of Hanna-Barbera's Yogi Bear franchise, which, though I have not talked about the original Yogi Bear show from, well, a few years before this, but anyway. This is a fun-filled animated series with a little bit of educational messages and what have you in each episode. Originally premiering on ABC in September of 1973, which of course was Hanna-Barbera's busiest year ever. Well, from what I've heard, since this, along with two other shows, had come to the network the same year, which were Goober and the Ghost Chasers and the original Super Friends. Plus, they had the Addams Family and Inch High Private Eye and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids on NBC and Speed Buggy on CBS, and plus new episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies. Anyway, the show began as a TV movie special called Yogi's Ark Lark, which aired on the ABC Saturday Superstar movie the previous year. Now, 15 episodes were, well, original episodes were produced for broadcast on ABC, with the hour-long Yogi's Ark Lark thrown in as a split in half two-parter. Now, the show confronted social and cultural issues like ecology and bigotry. Now then, so each week, Yogi, along with Boo Boo, Quick Draw McGraw, Huckleberry Hound, and numerous other characters from Hanna-Barbera, have on this here flying ark and encounter a variety of villains along the way. Just about all of them who act as their friends, hosts, and or guests, but embody some of the most common human faults and vices. And Yogi and crew will often put up with them, which ends with the villains either being repelled or outdone by their actions. Now, of course, all episodes are actually named after the bad guys. Well, not all of them, though. Anyway, well, sort of. Of course, those characters were Captain Swashbuckle Swipe, Smokestack Smog, Lala Litter, the Envy Brothers, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Bigot, and his henchmen, Professor Haggling and Professor Bickering, the Gossipy Witch of the West, J. Wanton Vandal, the Sheik of Selfishness, Commodore Phineas P. Fibber, I Am Sloppy, Pierre D. Cheater, Mr. Waste, Hilarious Pete Prankster, and the Greedy Genie. Now, actually, this is the only show in the Yogi Bear franchise to have a laugh track. Now, I have seen all the episodes before, and of course, I have a couple of them on the Saturday Morning Cartoon, the 1970s collection. Well, as part of the whole complete Saturday Morning Cartoons collection that Warner Bros. Had released. Now, the first volume of that set had the Greedy Genie episode, which was episode number 2, while the first episode, Mr. Bigot, was included on volume 2. Of course, those were the first volume of that Saturday Morning's cartoon set was released in 2009, and 4 years later, well, not 4 years later, I'm sorry, I made an error, and later on, the second volume will follow. 4 years later, Warner Archive released the complete series as part of their Hanna-Barbera Classics collection. It's also available to download via the iTunes Store and Google Play Store as well. Anyway, after a total of 15 episodes overall that were produced and aired, the show ended in December of '73. However, it continued in reruns later on. and well, going to 1975. The show was serialized later on the syndicated weekday series Fred Flintstone and Friends in 1977. Later on, the show was shown on USA's Cartoon Express and later Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Boomerang. Now, I can't seem to recall catching it on USA, but I did see that on Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Anyway, aside from Yogi and Boo Boo, plus Huckleberry Hound and Quick Draw McGraw, other characters that were featured included Adam and Augie Doggy and his dear old doggy daddy, the Hillbilly Bears, Hokey Wolf and Dingaling, Lippy the Lion and Hardy Har Har, McGill Gorilla, Peter Pumice and So-So, Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, Pumpkin Puss and Mushmouse, and Quick Draw's partner Baba Louie included Ricochet Rabbit and Droopalong, Secret Squirrel and Morocco Mole, Snagglepuss, Snooper and Blabber, Squiddly Diddly, Touche Turtle, and Dum Dum, Wally Gator, and Yankee Doodle. Anyway, I think this is a show I think you ought to get your kids to watch. I think this will be a perfect lesson, give y'all a little lesson, what have you, what's going on in the world. I think this show kind of came out after CBS had success with Filmation's Fabber and the Cosby Kids, but let's not jump to any conclusions or something like that yet, okay? But even so, it does provide some good educational messages and what have you. And I'm glad this did provide lessons, even on pollution, what have you. Yeah, long before Captain Planet even came along. various villains of the show actually later went on to appear on the anime series known as Jellystone. Yeah. Anyway, this was just so good and what have you. But anyway, I think Yogi's Gang is just so good, and it does have a very fun factor, and again, it provides a good lesson in each episode. So anyway, I am going to say that this is, again, a very fun show. Anyway, later on, after this, Yogi would still continue to give us some more fun. Why it now of course some other characters from Yogi's little home of Jellystone Park. Of course, Ranger Smith appears in one episode, as well as his little love interest, Cindy Bear. Now, let's see. Yes, Ranger Smith appeared in episode number 5, The Gossipy Witch, which, of course, that was the episode with the Gossipy Witch of the West. Yeah. Now, let me see here. Oh, yeah, and Ranger Smith does appear in episode 12 where they encounter Lotta Litter. Okay, I almost forgot. Let's see, and Cindy actually appears in the final episode overall that was, well, not overall, but the last episode that was produced and aired, and that was Mr. Hothead. So anyway, I'm just trying to make a check so that way I don't miss anything if I didn't miss any. Okay, and Cindy is mentioned in the Gossipy Witch episode as well, but it's been some time since I last saw those episodes, so bear with me, okay? But anyway, we also have a great voice acting cast that includes Dallas Butler, once again voicing a lot of the characters, including Yogi as well as Augie Doggy, Huckleberry Hound, Quick Draw, Snagglepuss, Wally Gator, Peter Pumice, Baba Louie, Lippy the Lion, Hokey Wolf. Don Masick once again voices Boo Boo, plus Squiddly Diddly, Touche Turtle, Ranger Smith, and M. Ant. Cindy Bear, who appears, is voiced by Julie Bennett. John Stevenson makes his first time voice, does Doggy Day for the first time ever, as well as Hardy Har Har. And a lot of them, the villains in my Alan Melvin once again voices McGilla Gorilla. Henry Corin does Paul Rugg of the Hillbilly Bears, and Gene Vanderfield once again does Mall Rugg. There's also Tom Bosley, who had recently started doing the voice of Harry Boyle in Hanna-Barbera's primetime animated show Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. Of course, this was still just a little bit before Happy Days made its debut. Let's see, there's Virginia Gregg, there's, Walker Edmondson, Hal Smith, Lane Weinrib, Paul Winchell. Oh, the list goes on for the voices. Anyway, I think Yogi's Gang is so good that, again, this is a show I would recommend. Now, after this, Yogi would be back a few years later in 1978 with Yogi's Space Race, which I'll be spotlighting in a couple of weeks. So, what are your thoughts on Yogi's Gang? Tell me what you thought about the show. Did you ever get to watch this? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned for my review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming up later on tonight. So that'll do it. And if you like this, consider checking out these other Saturday Morning TVLogs. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TVLog for one of the shows I had just mentioned that premiered on ABC that same year, and that was Goober and the Ghost Chasers. The upper right-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TVLog I did for one of the shows that premiered on NBC the same year this did. That would be Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids. Or if you would like something else, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see last week's Saturday Morning TVLog on the Flintstone Comedy Hour. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TVLog, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TVLog is
The New Fred and Barney Show.
So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.